Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We have the April Fool's Para Brothers unit, fully maxed out, fully SA10. I'm going to be taking them into a showcase. We have them on a Dragon Ball Seekers team. One of the huge major kind of flaws immediately, but I mean it is an April Fool's unit so it doesn't really matter, is their links aren't good and they have literally 3 categories that aren't great either. So we have them on a Dragon Ball Seekers team to get that full 170 boost. I'm bringing this Vegeta along just to give this Vegeta some links to see what like their support is doing in terms of some actual good like damage and numbers output. We're going to be linking them up with the Supreme Kai of Time because they share quite a few links together without getting support, which is what Giru is going to offer them. To be fair, they actually share quite a few links together and they support Dragon Ball Seekers, or he supports Dragon Ball Seekers units. So that's what we're going to be doing. They actually look pretty good for once. An April Fool's unit that actually looks usable. Let me know if you think down in the comments if he has used them. Give me a huge favor before we do get into it though. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, that'd be very much appreciated. Without further ado, let's hop into it and see what they can do. Okay, so we have them on rotation. We don't have them on the bestest rotation. I'm not gonna lie, these guys as a slot 3 unit is great because I mean they're an April Fool's unit, so you know you're not going to be expecting massive attack. I mean, look at it, you're not going to be expecting huge attack stats, huge defensive stats. They have 38k attack and 89k defense. You're not going to be expecting ridiculousness, okay? But in terms of a support, really nice. And as I said, for an April Fool's unit, they're pretty good. You know, they greatly raise defense for 3 turns, which is 50% on defense. They cause supreme damage to enemy and raise all allies attack by 25%, self-excluded. Which all of their support is self-excluded, so they will get none of the boost. Again, this is an April Fool's unit. Same with their links. Their links are really bad. They're only on 3 categories. Dragon Ball Seekers, Join Forces, Special Pose, which aren't really the greatest categories in the game, especially because they don't link well to hardly anyone on them, apart from Giru on this category now. So for the sake of the video, for the time being, we are going to keep them on main rotation. We have 3 links active if we put them here. Is it just with them? Yeah, it's just with them. So solid support, shatter the limit, and GT, which means we're getting plus 10%, all enemies minus 15% on solid support. GT and shatter the limit, both key links. So yeah, I guess we'll feed you some orbs and we'll see what they're putting out, even though that's not the important part. That's not why they're here. So we'll see what they do on their own for now, just for the sake of it. Oh god, this is probably gonna do some damage, isn't it? 100k already. Jesus Christ, 268k on super. I mean, at least it's got the dancing animations, right? That's nice. So right now, they greatly raise their defense for 3 turns. They've also raised all allies attack plus 25%. And on their passive, Key plus 1, defense plus 120 at the start of turn. All allies attack and defense plus 25%, again, self-excluded. Plus an additional Key plus 2 and all allies self-excluded. Attack plus 27% when the character is first or second to obtain key spheres in a turn. So basically, if you have them in slot 1 or 2, because that's when you obtain key spheres in that order, you will give all allies on that turn a 25% boost on attack. Then they get an additional defense plus 120 and all allies key plus 2 and defense plus 25% when the character is third to obtain key spheres in a turn. So if you run them in the floater spot, they will give defense to everyone and gives themselves 120% defense, which, considering how much defense they get on their passive anyway and also in their super attack, it's probably best that you run them as a floater, especially as a support anyway. So that means in total at one point you can either, depending on where you put them in the rotation, you can either give them or give the support, should I say, you can either give the support attack plus 50%, defense plus 25%, or you put them in slot 3, it will be attack plus 25%, defense plus 50%. Then not only that, they have a high chance of sealing all enemy super attacks at the start of turn when there is a GT Heroes category enemy, which is actually pretty nice. The only thing is, GT Heroes is very specific, like a very specific restriction in the passive. So it's very limited. But I say that within the unit itself, you're probably not going to be bringing it with you in like Super Battle Road and, you know, Goku event. So even though that is actually a very useful thing to have, as restrictive as it is, again, you're probably not going to be bringing these. But I mean, who knows? Maybe their defense, after everything kind of gets ticked off in their passive, is looking at a pretty decent spot. But from so far what I've seen, obviously you're not going to be bringing them. But again, it is an April Fool's unit, so there is that. I mean, to be fair, they have 133k defense right now. That's pretty decent. So that's literally because they super attacked and greatly raised their defense with 3 turns. That's pretty nice. So we're going to put them in slot 3, which means they're going to get an additional defense plus 120. And all allies key plus 2 and defense plus 25%, which doesn't completely matter. And it's quite annoying because I can't actually check it because obviously since they're the 3rd unit to get orbs in the turn, that's when we go into the animation. So I can't actually see what the numbers are. But their defense is actually in a pretty solid spot. As long as you have them in, you know, sitting as a floater, getting both sets of defense plus 120. And also super attacking, which is greatly raising their defense 3 turns. Their defense is actually alright. It's not the best. It's definitely not the best. But it's definitely alright. I have to admit, it's definitely alright. It's not bad. It's not bad. Considering considering this is an April Fool's unit, pretty much. It's actually okay. I mean, when you look at the April Fool's units we've picked up, like in previous years, they're just not even usable. Whereas this actually kind of has some use. You're probably not going to be using it that often. But there is some use. Like, the stats on their actual card, obviously, are very low. But again, it's an April Fool's unit. But their passive, all in all, is actually pretty nice. Their defense, after I said, you got both sets of defense plus 120 in slot 3. And then on super attack, their defense is actually a pretty good point. The support is very nice. I have to say the support is really nice. It's just a shame they're not on that many categories. They're literally on 3 categories and none of them are that great. You know, Dragon Ball Seekers is okay, but it's a plethora of units that don't really link that well together. Joint Forces is a pretty good category. You know, you probably won't be getting any links off with these guys, but you know, the support can definitely have some uses here and there. And then Special Pose is actually a pretty good category. You know, you have the Int Gotenks, and then you have all the Ginyu units, including eventually Dokkan Fest Ginyu, the 200% lead in a few months, and then the Berta and Jace supports, and then the Rakuman Goldo supports. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As I said, you're not gonna expect anything ridiculous from these guys, like, you know, insane 5, 6, 7 million attack stats and like ridiculous defense. You know, they don't have guard or anything, or damage reduction. I'm not gonna lie, if these had like guard or damage reduction, these guys defensively would actually be pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie. This would be, if these guys had like guaranteed guard, I would probably be tempted to take them on any category team I run and just have them there as like a defensive unit floating. But obviously that's not really a possibility. But, you know, for the sake of the video, we will link them up like quite well and just see what numbers they're putting out just to see it. So with links, we have 589k defense with 589k 58k attack. I'm so used to seeing units with over like 200k attack stats and stuff that I'm not used to seeing a 58k attack stat. 58k attack stat. 106k defense, which again is their defense is actually pretty nice, but we're not going to be having them in slot 3, which means they're not getting the additional defense plus 120, and that means all allies are going to be getting the additional attack plus 25%, which means attack plus 50% this turn, defense plus 25%. I don't even think even at the beginning of Dokkan attack stats were this low. I mean, they might have been, you know, when you don't have like actual teams, but I don't think even in the beginning attack stats were that low. So we're missing Flea, Coward, and GT, which I'm pretty sure all of them are key links. Yeah, all of them are key links. So this is the best they're going to get. 82k attack stat. 82k attack stat, you know. 82k attack stat, you know. But their defense, as I said, is pretty good. Their defense is actually quite alright. And considering they're pretty much a full-blown support unit, having the defense they do combined with that is actually quite nice. It's just a shame, as I said, they only have 3 categories and they're not the best categories. And if you were to run them on a category team, which I would be tempted to do, a category team they don't belong on, I'm not gonna lie, you're missing out on a huge boost from running them on like under a leader skill. So you probably definitely don't want to do that, but they're actually not bad. They're actually okay. I said defensively, along with how good they are as a support, they're actually an okay unit. It's just a shame you're very restricted to not the greatest categories in the game, and there only being 3. And even their links, even though their links are bad, it's actually not the worst thing in the world because you wouldn't be using them to get their links off. But yeah, I mean, for an April Fool's unit, not bad. It's actually not bad. It's probably one of the best April Fool's units we've ever had. Definitely probably one of the best April Fool's units we've ever had. I mean, what are they saying defensively this time? 159k. They're literally just shy of 160k defense. I'm actually gonna. I don't want to use an item because I want to see how much they they tank for, but screen cut of time in the middle there worries me. But I'm gonna do it because I don't want to die. I don't want to die. But yeah, it's looking good. I mean, it's looking good for what they are. They're actually quite good. The only last rotation I need with them is to have them on rotation with Giru, that support, just to see where the numbers are sitting at, especially defensively. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get Giru on rotation with the Spring Clive time. I'm gonna have the Para brothers in slot 3, get them that full defense along with the support, and then I'm gonna see how much attack they give a full rotation. Actually, no, because they're no, because again, we would need to put them on main rotation to get the attack bonus, which means splitting up the Vegeta rotation if we were to have it. Okay, we'll just see how they do with the support, and then we'll wrap up. But yeah, as an April Fool's unit, it's actually not bad. It's probably one of the most usable April Fool's units there is in the entire game. Even though they are quite usable, I don't know how often you'd be using them, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how often you'd be using them. I'm actually quite interested to see how they do in... Definitely not ESBR, because that'd probably be pushing it a bit. I would definitely be quite interested to see how they do as a floater in Super Battle Road. So maybe I'll do a video on that and we test them out. I think ESBR would be pushing it a little bit too much. I don't think they would be able to make it in ESBR. The Super Battle Road, I might try them there, just to see how they do as a floater with all that support and, like, you know, in a kind of ideal situation, getting all that defense from their, you know, from their passive, getting the additional defense plus 120 from being in the 3rd slot, and also then getting the defense from super attack. I think they just might be able to handle themselves in Super Battle Road. Oh, here it is, the most ideal rotation they can have. The only 2 links they're missing is Flea and Coward, which are key links. They've got support from Giru, and they're on a 75k attack, 75k attack stat. 183k defense though. So if we were to put them in slot 3, which again I can't see it because you don't get it until we pick up key spheres, and that's when the animations start. If I was to put them in slot 3 with the support, their defense is looking well over 200k, which is really nice. It's really nice. Their defense would easily be over 200k. So yeah, do you know what? I think Super Battle Road, they'll be able to handle themselves as a floater. Definitely as a floater. This is going to do some serious damage. We won't die, but this will really hurt. I think I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them into Super Battle Road because I think they would actually do just fine. I don't know about ESBR though. I think that's pushing it. What's the final attack stat saying? What are we sitting on? 533k. I mean, that's not why you're bringing them. That's not why you're bringing them. You know, even though you could have them on main rotation, like, I think the only time you would put them on main rotation is, I mean, if you was actually going to seriously use this unit in SBR, the only time these 3 would be on the main rotation is if I don't know, maybe at the end of like an SBR phase, you know, maybe at the end of one of the fights, you know, you're about to, you know, beat that phase. You want a bit of extra attack stat to get the damage to make sure they die. Then maybe, but then you're just ruining, you're splitting up your rotation. So, you know, I don't know how often you'd be putting these on main rotation just to get that additional 25% attack. I mean, it is nice and definitely is handy. But, you know, considering the way Dokkan is nowadays, the best place to have these, I mean, especially as a support, slot 3, because that way everyone's getting 50% defense. They are getting only 25% attack, but at least they're getting some attack bonus. But then everyone's getting 50%, which is huge, especially in harder events. And then at least these guys are getting the additional defense plus 120 on top of the 120 they get at the start of turn anyway. And then they can super greatly raise their defense to 3 turns. And then their defense is sitting at like almost 300k, which is pretty good. So yeah, for an April Fool's unit, I'm actually quite impressed. I'm actually quite impressed how good these are defensively and how good of a support they are. I definitely think I'm going to give them a go in Super Battle Road. So let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll see you next video, guys, and push!